So it's 4 a.m. in Honduras for Diego, and you'll keep hearing the roosters as they wake up, and they're called gallos.
Yes, roosters.
I thought 6 o'clock was early enough.
It's 4 a.m. here, actually.
Yeah, it's too early. So Diego, wow us. What have you got?
I slept early yesterday just for being here. No, I did some uploads, not big much, but let me see. Oh, I don't know if you had the link of the homepage I have on GitHub pages, or I sent it by the chat.
Yeah, send it in the chat if you don't mind. The most recent one.
I have already the option for getting the, well, actually you sent me the code for that. So getting the general information, so for displaying it on the homepage, we're only going to
that link.
Sorry.
You just have to put HTTP in front.
Yes, I didn't copy it. There you go.
Oh, okay, thank you. Yeah, and for some reason, this Google Hangout doesn't let me select it either. I can't even select it as if it was text. Weird.
How do I get my screen to... There we go. So now everybody can see... can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm forcing sharing of my screen right now so that people can see the tutorials.
So basically that I did it with the code JSON did last night. Well, not last night. Some days ago. I just did some small modifications, and the idea is that we're going to we have the IDs of these GIS on a special GIS where we are saving all the information. Also, the idea of having this is that we're going to have like 2 files on that special GIS. One for the approved GIS. Those are going to be checked and approved and being deleted from the actual let's say we're going to have 2 files, one from approved tutorials and one to approve. So we're going to remove them from the one from the approved to the approved. I don't know if you get that. Hello?
Did you follow that, Steve?
Kinda.
I didn't.
Okay.
Let me see. It's better.
Sorry. Hey, Diego, why don't you share your screen so that you can actually talk us through what you're showing us?
Okay. Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, what I was trying to tell you that we have
this side. Your screen went away.
What?
Your screen went away.
Yes.
Maybe it's a selection thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's gone. Yeah, it was there. I think it's just the selection thing. I think it moves to whoever talks louder.
Well, I was trying to lock it. There's a lock button on the bottom that I think I can control. So I think I've got that there.
Mine just says profile, ignore, and mute. There's no lock.
Yeah, I think that's just because I'm the host.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yes, I see it now. Yep.
Okay. I know also.
Yes.
Okay. What I was trying to tell you is that I have, for example, this special GIS, the side list. I'm going to have here 2 files, the ones that are approved tutorials, that are the ones that are going to be displayed on bone101, the ones that we're going to fill over here. And we're going to have another file that's going to go to approved files, or to approved tutorials. Here, all the tutorials that all the users create, they're going to come again here. Somebody's going to check them, and approve them, and then they're going to move them to this file, site list HTML. And that way we're going to have all of the approved tutorials loaded here on bone101. Now you get me, right? I still don't explain myself well.
Yeah,
so there's
that
going
makes
to be
sense.
one. So there's going to be one big list of yet to be approved tutorials that you can explore, and it's the ones that need to be approved still.
Exactly.
Okay.
That way you can, the ones, if it's to approve, that doesn't matter, but you can share it to everyone. The only difference is that it's not going to. Why I cannot move this? Well, I don't know. The only difference is that I can. The only difference is that it's not going to be visible on bone101, but you can share it to your friends, colleagues, everyone you want.
Cool.
Okay, the other option I was trying. Well, I started working on the did, but I didn't upload the code for two reasons. One, I didn't finish. I'm still getting some small bugs, so I haven't tested, and I didn't want to upload that. The second one is I don't know why I cannot code the event, the click event here for the read or the logout. I'm just seeing probably was slept yesterday and didn't notice a small bug I have there. Let me see. Tutorials are actually working. I fixed the bug, for example. The bug you were telling me yesterday, Jason, that after you select, for example, card number 5, this went to the left, to the right, to the left. If I don't remember, if I am correct or no.
Yeah, before it did.
So I don't know if you want to test it on your computers to see if it's actually working. And the CSS is already on pixels. It's not for the using percentage.
In that select card dropdown, should it say like card 1 overview, card 6 hardware, or so that people know where they're going, people know where they're jumping?
My idea is to do that. The only thing is that I told you I slept kind of early yesterday, but yes, I have it on my list for doing it. That's
Okay,
not so complicated.
excellent.
Yes.
Yep.
The only thing I was going to ask.
Can you make the cover card not a card, like it's a separate HTML file, so that somebody can optimize something for small size?
How like that? Sorry, I don't understand you.
So the card 1 right now looks like it's the same as
Select card.
yeah, it's the same as the one that's like
The
shown
default.
by default, right? Is it possible to go ahead and make it different so that like there's a cover card that can be optimized for the small viewing area, and then the first card that's an overview, the overview card be different, right? So the overview card should have like an overall picture of it, but then there should be like the cover card should be something that is like, it wouldn't say overview. It would never waste that much space saying overview because that's redundant, right? You want to know it should be, blinky light or read temperature, but it should be optimized for this small space. You can even see, even for as short as the text as you've got for this the temperature sensor card or deck, the cover doesn't even still fit in the card. Right, so the layouts for the covers need to be optimized. So
Yes, correct. First, yeah, you're right on that. For example, if you see here, ouch, oops, I didn't change that. You're right here. For example, this image is too big. If you see it's getting out, I have to optimize that. On that, you're completely. You're completely right. A question about the optimization. Should I have a new tab here then on the create for that?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I think we still have to get into the create, but because you need to make that list actually dynamic. But there should be one specifically for the cover, and then there should be something else for the the content cards.
Oh, okay. Okay. I get you.
Maybe we want to, I don't know. Steve, did you have more comments about the viewing before we get into the editing?
Well, yesterday I had thought about that idea, but you can shoot me down. I'll just say it. yesterday I had thought about the idea of that overview page. Since we're having challenges with graphic design, I have the overview page be similar to your projects page because it's the graphic design's already done. It's got that awesome filtering. I don't know if you showed Diego. And then when you jump into a tutorial, then it comes into what he's showing us now, you know? So do you like that idea or do you not like that idea?
Right.
Yeah, yeah. Jason was showing me this yesterday, and the filtering and the scanning through projects is awesome. And I love the way it's done, and the graphic design looks great. It's consistent with the brand and the community. Uh, and since we're having challenges with graphic design anyway, this seems like a quick way to implement an overview. And then once you click on a tutorial, then you go into the stuff we're talking about right now. What do you guys think about that?
Sorry about. Let's say. Let me see if I get.
Jason, do you like that
I
idea?
like the idea. I don't know, Jason.
I will capitulate. I want my preference was to see the list of decks, but that is something that's difficult to do. I like having scrolling through the visual elements and being able to see the graphics very quickly like that.
Right, right.
You know, my preference would still be to have some type of search bar that's similar to projects to filter through things, but to, you know, the listing below to be an array of these decks of cards. Again, it's if functionality does trump you know, the prettiness in some ways. If this is more browsable to have the list, you know, I can align
Jason.
with it. Yeah.
Jason. But the idea of this is to also be paging in. That's the correct way of saying it, I guess. Just like this, you have, for example, that's actually my main idea here. After you have, for example, the first page is filled, you're going to have the next back buttons so you can display all the tutorials. I don't know if that, instead of going scrolling down.
Yeah, you see this one has that paging.
Yes. My idea is to, let's say, implement this also here on the index view.
But would you do
was,
it as deck? Would you maintain the view of the deck covers, or would you just put it in as
I will
text
no,
listing?
I will maintain the deck view. That's my idea actually.
But then you put in that search.
The search. That's why I was showing you yesterday. I want to see how does this work actually to implement it here on this one.
Yeah, the search and filtering there is really nicely done. I really like it. It's pretty powerful.
I was checking yesterday the source code, and it doesn't look like tough difficult for doing it.
Yeah, I don't think
But
it's.
that's why at first I wanted to see which were the. Yes, I was trying to see which were the main objectives for this week, so I didn't want to wait. Let's say waste a time on this, and you probably were expecting another thing.
Right. Yep.
So Steve, do you prefer the individual listing, or is it just a matter of simplicity to not have this array of cards?
Well, given that we're beyond the midterm, and given that we're having some graphic design challenges, that's why it started to make sense to me. Because as you said a few minutes ago, functionality kind of trumps right now. Because someone else who's a front-end professional could always come in later and kind of do what you're thinking, you know, like bring your vision to reality. But as long as the back end's all there and the list and the graphics are all there, right?
So Diego, is there one you think you can get done faster than the other?
Mm, I'm guessing I don't see this quite difficult for doing it actually. I think I can have ready this for next Wednesday for the next meeting, so you can see the search for projects.
And then that allows Diego to focus on this part that or sorry, it allows him to focus on the editing part of tutorials and making that pretty and making that look like the cards that you wanted.
Right.
So it seems to me like a reasonable compromise, as long as it doesn't, destroy the project.
I think we just wanted to make sure we understood what was the preferred, if all things being equal, what's the preferred view? If the preferred view is to display the cards rather than line items, then maybe it makes sense to go ahead and, if it's just as easy to go ahead and do the card deck view.
I prefer actually the card deck.
Okay.
Shall we go into create then?
Okay, or we go on the date. I don't know you. Let me see. So that will be for Wednesday. Search.
Well, that's a good question. Which is higher priority, fixing the search or fixing the create?
What do you think, Steve?
I would say fixing the create, and the reason I say that is you got to have content before you can search it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm good with that because I think it's going to be actually pretty easy. If Diego needs help with the search, that's something that I'm pretty comfortable. I can help him add, including the list view. But the creation and edit, I think that's probably
Right.
the bigger task.
Right. I agree.
Okay.
For those
Now,
that
I
are
was asking,
watching,
oh,
what
sorry.
he just did was use GitHub to log in. So because we're keeping gists of all the data, you can log in using your GitHub account, and that gives you a place where you could save the data. It goes all to gists. There's a lot of magic that was going on by that login button.
That's true.
When I did that login yesterday, though, it used my Google credentials to log in, didn't it?
Was it this that you logged into, or was it something else on the Beagle website?
It was
No,
good. It was a GitHub.
yeah, it was this. It was, and it popped up a page, and it asked me. Oh, I put a gist in our chat yesterday, but it's gone now. Or I mean, I put a imgur of the login screen for me, but I don't know how to get to it. Yeah, it asked me about my Gmail credentials. Okay.
Interesting. How do you log in? Do you log in to GitHub using Gmail of any kind?
No, I don't. I have a different email address specifically for GitHub.
Yeah.
That's weird. I haven't done that.
I don't even know how that'd be possible because it's only a call to GitHub.
Yes. You were smoking something, Steve.
I might have that. I'm going to look and see if I have a screenshot of that. I might have saved it.
Give me 1 second.
Man, if I had a second, I'd start a coffee.
Okay, I'm looking at the screenshot, and you're right. I am completely wrong. That is I wasn't smoking anything, but I was wrong.
You were drunk yesterday, man.
Okay. Yep.
Haven't found it yet?
He
Who,
found
me?
it.
Yeah, I found it. It does. Yeah. Can I paste it in somehow?
Yeah, paste it in chat. Let Diego pull it up on his screen.
Okay. I'm gonna try paste it in chat. Okay. I gotta go to Imgur. Is that the best way to share an image? Is that Imgur thing?
It's a reasonable one. The best way is the way that you've been doing and already have set up and know how to do quickly.
Okay. Yep. Okay. It's uploading. Uploading. Come on. And pasting into chat. There it is.
Screen sharing stopped again, Diego.
What?
Yeah. Your screen sharing isn't working.
Oh, yes, sorry. Okay, so what about the creating?
Are you opening my screen share or the image I just sent you
Yes.
in the chat there?
Yep. Let's just see in there.
Yeah, so it was the GitHub login. I was completely wrong about the boop thing. Sorry about that.
We suspected as much.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Are you sure that's the right link?
Yeah, I just double checked it and it's working on my end. Yep.
It's not working. It's working for you, Jason?
Yes, it is working for me.
Why is it not working for
Can you click on it instead of copy and pasting it? I don't know why that would change anything.
Yeah. Yes, but I don't know why it's...
I'm starting to hear some roosters. So this is what it looks like on my
That's
screen.
normal. They'd be...
Can you see mine?
Okay, I'm switching over to yours.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, so that is my GitHub, absolutely, the Volt Vision Frenchie up there. And we're authorizing the GIST, I guess. Right.
Yeah, and then you see Diego TC has been being the authorization, what the application is that's being authorized for now.
Okay, okay. And will that change later, or is it always Diego?
It will be, ultimately, I think it'll be
No, it's
Beetleborg.
going to be...
Okay.
Oh yeah, Diego's answering.
Exactly. I don't think no... Yes, I don't think nobody wants to give me their permissions.
There's one other aspect to this is that we're actually on Beagleboard going to need to run an OAuth service. Right now, Diego's using a third-party OAuth service to make sure that there's nothing needed on the static pages. Just so it's recorded for posterity. Diego and I had spoken about this, and we'll eventually start another OAuth service that will just be completely compatible with the OAuth service that he's using now.
Yeah, we can. If we leave it right now, only 500 users can create tutorials on 1 month.
Yeah, that would, that's a lot, but still.
Expectations are big.
Okay, so we were talking about the login. Jason, did my screenshot look like you expected? That it kind of pops up a new window that's pretty small. You got to scroll in it. It's a little weird, but it works. You know.
Yeah, it only comes up the first time I ask you to authorize the app.
Right. Right.
After that, when you click login, it's not going to show up again.
Right. Yeah, it was pretty painless.
J- Jason, I left the cookie just for 1 day for expiration. I don't know, should we be longer or I leave it that way?
I think asking somebody to log in every day is fine.
Okay.
We don't want to cookie overload them. You know, have the cookies live forever. We can. That's always something we can adjust based on user feedback.
Okay.
So one thing that Diego and I were talking about yesterday is saving. He had a save button on one of the 5 cards, and I was asking him
Yes, on
if
the
it was,
last one.
yeah, on the last one. I was asking him if it was possible to just save automatically, kind of like Gmail does, because someone like me does epic tutorials, and it's nice if it kind of just saves in the background. But if it's not possible, then oh well.
It's gonna
It is
every time
possible. I
it's
was
saved. Okay, I'll let you explain it, Diego.
No, I was going to tell you that it's possible because if I was saying yesterday, I was reading about that. I only have to code the function setting turbo every any amount of time. But I was going to ask you that, Jason. What do you want? What were you expecting actually about that? For example, if I just create a tutorial, I should be saving it every.
The big thing is I wouldn't want you creating new gists every time. If you were forking the existing gist, like adding a revision, I think that'd be great. But if every time you flip pages, you're actually creating a new gist, I think that becomes I mean, we're just kind of polluting the gist space.
Right.
No, my idea is actually when we created, we have the first time we created, I get the cookie. Sorry, I get the ID and I save that ID. So that way I will be updating it each time, every 5 or 8 minutes, 10 minutes. I don't know.
Well, it should be. I don't know if it's by minutes, but you can set it
It
for
might.
if there's a change. If there's a change, maybe 1 minute. It seems kind of frequently, but make sure you don't resave if there's not a change. If the content hasn't been altered, don't resave.
Right.
And then anytime you change cards in the view, you should save.
Oh, okay.
If there's a change, right? If there's a change and you change
Of
card
course.
view, you should save.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah, it's a minor detail, but it's real nice to not lose things when you're working on a big post.
Okay.
So yeah, I guess as long as you're doing revisions, it'll actually make for probably better um, granularity of the patches on the individual gist. It gets pretty efficient at storing all those changes, unless you're like constantly like cutting and pasting images and switching them out. Then the log might get reasonably large. Most all these things are all pretty small anyway. I don't think it's going to matter.
Okay.
Okay. So what should we do now? Should we walk through the creation of a mock tutorial, or what do you guys think's best right now?
Well, I've got another high-level comment. Just looking at the create page, which is it's got a fixed set of cards, and that's just not going to work. We need. I don't know if you can bring that to the forefront, but we need to get. I like that you have the guidance here on like general info and prerequisites and to try to guide people along. But I think ultimately that's going to have to go. So some of these. Oh, okay. I didn't see here where you've got some that there's like pluses and minuses. I don't
Yes,
know. I don't know what those do. So you can add multiple hardware pages.
exactly.
Ah, okay. So I hadn't seen that. I hadn't noticed that. And are you required to have each of these cards, or does it only create a card for ones that you actually write in?
It only creates a card for the first one you write.
So if you leave it blank, it's not going to create a card for that one.
Exactly.
So this is really more about the different types of cards you can create and putting them in a certain order rather than it is about um, these are the exact cards that you have to have. Is that true?
Yeah. The idea is, for example, we were going to. I was thinking that way that we're going to have just 5 special main cards: general info, prerequisites, hardware code, and additional info. And if we want to add more information, I need more cards about prerequisites. I can add more cards about hardware. I can add them. I was planning to do the same for this same special event of adding more cards to general info, additional info, and code, but I thought it wasn't necessary. For code, probably yes, but for general info, for example, and additional info, I thought that it is not necessary.
There's only ever going to be one.
Mm-hmm. We're not going to have like general info 1, general info 2, general info 3. Well, I see it that way.
Well, it might be useful to have one for additional info. You might have multiple additional infos.
Oh, okay. On code, I am here on code. I am planning to change this and just a pop-up that is asking if you're going to use the bone script library or you're going to use another language, for example, Python or Ruby.
Okay.
Depending if it is, for example, if it is the bone script library, at the moment for displaying the card. This one. For example, of course, if it is the bone script library, we're going to have here the option of running, editing this code on runtime, the way it is like currently here on bone101. Which that way we have the idea of running the tutorials live. And if it is Python, Ruby, or another language, we're only going to display the code like this, something like this. I don't know. What do you think about that?
That seems fine to me. I think. Um,
If it is bone script library, we're going to have something like this kind of. And if it is another programming language, Python, Ruby, we're going to have it normal, just the code for copy and paste.
Now on the Bone 101, the 2 buttons there, run and restore. Restore works because there's some hidden code behind the scenes that restores it. But what buttons do we need in our case?
I don't know. Maybe you should say who the question's intended for. The run and restore, I think, are fine for now. There's a lot of things I would like to see better about that. Um, Ultimately, I'd like to be able to have multiple code examples. The way this is currently implemented is once you run it, it runs, and there's no way to stop it except for unloading the page, and that's something I need to figure out is how can I go and run things enough in a sandbox that I'm actually able to stop the execution.
Right.
And that's really not there today. I haven't figured out how to go and
Right.
do that. because it just runs within the page itself.
Yeah, and the restore button implies that you're restoring to some other state that's hidden behind the scenes, right?
Yeah, it's just the original state of the code that was in the text
Right.
editor, and that's not obvious, right? Because you might think that clicking restore is going to stop the execution or restore the state of the board somehow, but it doesn't do any of that. It only restores the state of the text within that box.
Right.
So there's
Jason, Steve,
definitely.
I'm going.
Go ahead, Diego.
No, I'm telling you, I'm going to leave like in 20 minutes, so I don't know. Should we advance a little bit more?
Well, I think we're on the good topic, right? Which is the way that we're going to implement create, or the way that you're going to get the create stuff done. A couple other high level comments here. I was really expecting a bit of a WYSIWYG environment here. So you have WYSIWYG text, but if it's not in the layout of the card, you're really not going to know what size to make things. In order, because the whole idea of having these fixed size cards is that people can really optimize the information they're putting within that page so that it gets presented in exactly the same way, right? So that when somebody creates it, it gets consumed and it looks the same by the other people seeing it. Here, by putting text in a in this
You're right.
this arbitrary box, you don't really know where it starts, where it wraps, where you go over the end, and of course there's cool things because you can cut and paste images in here, but you don't know what the impact of that is on the tutorial itself.
Well, I don't know if you think it's a good idea, but I think I can add the the layout of the BeagleBone over here, so the editor can be inside that. I don't know if you see that like a good idea, and that way we maintain the copy paste and options like that.
That's my preference. Steve, did you have some comments on what this should look like in terms of that editor, what that view should look like?
No, not right now. But I agree with what you were just saying, as far as style. Because you got to know, as you're editing, you got to know how it's shaken out.
Yeah. Hey, Diego, walk us through a whole creation of a tutorial then. Like, so, what is a good day, and kind of chime in on what's going to change.
Let me see. How like that? Just how it works right now, or what are we planning to change?
And just go through like everything about like how you go and create a card. Just mention as you're going through it if you're showing something that you're planning on changing, that you're not going to keep the same. I will comment that general info, is that the cover, or is that the first page? And I guess one thing, are you going to split those two up?
I think that we should. This is the general info, is the homepage. This one, the card view, the first one.
Okay, and then when you click into it, that first card is like when you click
into the tutorial.
First card, and so those are currently the same page, right? But you're gonna switch that up so that it's actually different things.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Okay, that's one thing I have to change. The other thing I will change is that I will have here the BeagleBone layout with the actual size that it is 850 pixels, if I'm not wrong. That way the user can start to see how is the text going to be displayed. I think I can do this static, so it cannot go this way, because if
right.
Can you change the name of the card? Oh.
Knows that that's the amount of text he can add. Yes. Yes. What
do you
name you told me you want card general info, huh? Or
I hear typing, but I don't see it.
sorry?
I hear typing, but I don't see the output. Are you showing us how to change the name of the
Sorry.
card?
Yes. No. Let me see. You're actually telling me if I can change the name of the card or if I'm planning to change it.
Yeah, I was asking if the user can change the name of a card. That's what I was asking.
No. Right now, no. That's hard code.
Okay. It's good to give them
That's something you
guidelines,
want
though.
to be implemented.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I mean, it's good to give them guidelines. A framework. It is, but should it be flexible where people can change the names of cards? And I don't know the answer to that.
So the names of the cards.
I don't know. Also, what do you think, Jason?
Well, I don't even know where the names of the cards are actually showing up right now in the presentation view, right? So like it seems to me like we ought to be able to change the names that like in the pull-down box where it says card 1, card 2, card 3. We ought to be able to change the names of
Yes,
those.
instead of card. Yes, the idea of yesterday of talking with Steve was that if it is card number 2, for example, that will be card prerequisites, card hardware, card code, card additional info, or card hardware number 1, number 2. If I start adding cards here.
Is there a chance that you can just make those names something that you provide in a text field? Like so that.
Yes, or I can do this.
I'm sorry, I spoke over you.
No, I was telling you, I think I can do this double clickable so I can edit the name. For example, I double click here, general info, and that's going to change the name.
But what if there's multiple cards like you have for I don't know, one of the category
This
like
one.
prerequisites. Like if you have multiple cards, so you would go and double click it there in page 1. Okay.
I can do that also. I don't think that's quite difficult for doing it.
Just somewhere. I don't know that it matters too much where, but somewhere that's intuitive to change the name of the cards. I think it seems necessary to be able to change the name.
Okay. Okay. The idea of having this guideline is going to still be, or you're planning for me to change it, Jason?
No, I think the guides that you have are okay. Now that I understand that you can create multiple cards, if I understood your question right, because you can still create
Yes.
multiples. So that's what I was worried about, that you had a fixed number of cards, and I wanted to make sure that wasn't the case.
No, that's not the case.
All right. So do you want to walk us through a tutorial, creating one?
Oops, sorry about that. That's my computer.
The save thing.
Yes.
And then for testing, make a couple different prerequisite pages, and we'll see how they show up in the drop-down.
Okay.
You need passion, love it.
So I'm wondering about naming conventions. Sometimes they're called cards, sometimes they're called pages. I don't know yet.
Yeah, yes. No, it's cards. Cards. If you see pages, it's because I didn't change it. But
Okay.
it's cards.
Okay.
The factor didn't function.
Okay. And should we experiment with dropping a picture in there or not yet? Is it not ready for that yet?
Yes. Oops. The idea here on the code I was telling you, I'm planning to have the pop-up asking if you're going to use the BoneScript library or you're going to use another language, and have the text editor only on the code view.
So it wouldn't be a WYSIWYG. It'd be more. It would be a highlighted syntax view, right?
Mm-hmm.
So are you're gonna use a different text editor, one that's like ACE or something like that, that's gonna give a highlighted syntax view?
Do you know some kind of cool editor for
Well,
doing it for that, or?
you can use the same one that's on the beagleboard.org website, which is called ACE, ACE, and it'll highlight Bash scripts
What do you
or
spell it?
Python or all the
ACE.
ACE. All right,
Oops,
you. All
let me
right.
see. I got an error creating the tutorial.
Uh-oh.
Wow.
Is it because of the
422.
image?
What's that? I don't think so.
So the Cloud9 guys make Ace, the Ace editor, huh?
Yeah.
Does GitHub provide anything like that? Because they just came out with that Atom editor. Do they have any kind of online editor like this, or?
They use ACE in their like you can like click on a text file within GitHub and edit it, and they use ACE for that.
Oh, really? Okay. So I
That's
just
weird.
pasted it
Wow.
into the chat there. That's the Cloud9 guys, ace.c9.io, I guess, right?
Oh my god.
Oh.
I have one validation issue.
I had
Yes,
to.
let me see.
Anytime I make those statements like that, things that I think I know, I have to Google them to make sure that I really do know. Um, so yeah, in 2011 they added the ACE editor to GitHub. So I pasted it. I wonder if the recording actually saves on the chat log. I bet it doesn't.
I don't think so.
That's my
Oh, well,
biggest problem with these Google Hangouts is the chat logs are gone.
yeah, not having all these links is always really handy. They should show up in the notes down at the bottom of YouTube.
Yeah.
So I noticed the number of cards. Oh, there's my normal time to wake up.
Alarm. Yes. No, I got an issue right now appending something on the JSON.
Yeah, what didn't it like? I don't see the image. Maybe was it the image was too large, or
Tutorials with more than 5 cards.
is it's the
No,
card count? It's not the did the
no, I
image
don't
still
think
look
so.
okay?
Let me see.
So you just reduced the number of cards and it was able to save?
Yes, it's 100% sure it is at the moment for adding more cards. I was trying something yesterday and it was working, or probably I was asleep and it was working.
We're gonna need some more status feedback, I suspect, on the page. Well, in that little. Okay.
There you go.
So you think there's a maximum number of cards?
Yes, the issue was a moment for a. No, it's not a maximum number of cards. Probably having extra com or something like that at the moment of creating the JSON.
Okay. So
what happened?
No, the image you cannot.
Nothing? Okay, sorry.
Yes, Steve? No, it doesn't happen nothing. JSON, I'm telling you, at the moment of creating the JSON. Sorry. No, it doesn't happen anything when you click the. I will send you the link.
Okay.
JSON, I was telling you, the moment of creating the JSON, probably adding extra com or something like that. That's why it's telling me this error 422. Validation fail.
So you have a bug in your JSON creation somewhere.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so as we get ready to wrap this up, what are the priorities from your perspective, Jason? Is what needs to be addressed first?
Trying to go over it a little bit in my mind, but I really want to see the creation of the card view actually match that of the layout, so that we can and just do some cleanup and then do the auto save. Right, I'd like to see the auto save show up in there. That functionality's probably going to be fairly complicated. I think that'll keep you busy for the next couple days until we meet again. The next few days until we meet again. But get the view right so that it looks like you're actually editing what you're the way it's going to look in the final case. So let's make sure it really is. You know, what you see is what you get sort of editing, because right now you can see that when you're editing in that text box, it gives you no idea of the scale of how things are going to fit when they actually get dumped into the final card view. So actually use the card view for the editor and then add the saving. See if you can get that box at the bottom. You know, you need to have a save on every page, but gray out you're saved. You've seen the behavior right before on other pages where if it's not saved, the box is highlighted so you can click it, but if it is saved, the box goes grayed out. That save button.
Okay.
Have you seen that? Have you seen functionality like that on other sites?
Yes. Yes, okay. yes. I was planning to have the save. Sorry.
So get that save button on all the pages, right? On all the different on the editor, and all the different pages that you have that are card editors pages. So make sure that there's a save button on all of them, and after a minute if there's been a change, right, anytime there should be a change, the box should come up and be non-grayed out, and then after a minute or so it should save, and then when it's saved, right, when the gist matches the content of the page itself, it should be grayed out. And every time you change cards that you're viewing, it should automatically save.
Okay. That's not quite tough to do that.
He's nodding his head, so I think we've got the right definition of functionality.
Yeah, should there be a button for dumping changes? Like if something goes terribly wrong and you want to revert back? I guess if it's automatically saving, you can't do that.
Well, you actually can, because with gist, it's actually, if he's saving to the same gist, it's actually doing Git version control. So like linear reverting should actually be something that's actually very very doable.
Okay. What, with like a drop down, like to revert to something previous or something?
Let Diego speak to that some. It's a little complicated.
Right. Yeah. But
I think we should better have this working first, and then.
Yeah. Right. I agree.
But doing all these saves isn't gonna, that's actually not gonna prevent us from ultimately doing the undo, because the data is gonna be there.
Right.
Okay. Cool. Okay, let's just review. You will change the layout for the cards, so we can actually have here the BeagleBone layout instead of this square. That's main priority number one, I think. And number two, it will be. It's number two. Wait.
Saving. Autosave.
Yes.
Save on every page.
Change layout. Just one question. For example, if I create I click create and I just write some topic here, general info. Save work, or the autosave should work the first time the user clicks the button. I don't know if you got my questions.
Say that question again.
For example, I'm a new guy. Oh, I plan to write a tutorial. So let's say first tutorial. Okay, so we're going to have a save button over here. Let's say if I don't click the save button and I continue advancing, the autosave should begin working, or the autosave should begin working the first time you click a save button. I don't know if I'm get myself.
I think you go ahead and create the new gist and start saving it the first time you flip pages. Go ahead and create the gist and start saving to it even before the first time you've hit save.
Oh, okay. Yes, that was my question, because sometimes, for example, it has happened to me that I plan to write something and I never continue, never finish it. So that case is going to be online doing anything.
Yeah.
And when if you click, for example, the save button, it's like you're okay, I will do what you say. That's like a small compromise you do yourself.
Right.
But you kind of committed to it when you hit the create button, and okay, maybe it's junk and maybe it's away, but I think we can worry about cleaning that up later. I'd rather have the data saved.
Okay.
Cool.
So if you get both of those done, one of the next things I'd ask you to look at is look at actually forking existing tutorials, right? So pre-populating content with what a previous tutorial was, and that's kind of how I envision a lot of this happening, is that you take an existing tutorial, you click it to fork it, right? There'd be some way to say, okay, I want to create a new version of this. And you just start replacing content, right? So that everybody else's tutorials become templates that you can use to help create your own. So I'd encourage that.
Okay.
The next step is like, actually pulling in content from an existing tutorial into the editor for you to work.
Okay. A question: should the fork button be on the tutorial itself, or in the index view? Because right now I have two ideas. One is, for example, I can have it here. Let's say fork on some kind of space that says fork, and this tutorial is going to fork, and I will have the option of editing it. Or the second one is I can have it here, a small link that says fork.
I think there's more
Or
room in
boundaries,
the
I don't
big
know.
view. I think the big view where you're actually viewing the card is probably the place it goes. Steve, comments?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, yeah, because you're in it, you're looking at it, you're deciding, okay, this is the one I want to fork, and then bam. Yeah, so I agree with you, Jason, in the big view.
Do we have anything else to cover, or are we good for the next next few days until we meet again?
Yes. Change layout priority, change layout, saving, autosave, fork tutorial. Okay. And the good thing about this is that after the create, it's almost the same for editing it. Almost
Right.
the same.
Cool.
And
I'm
Diego,
perfect.
I have
Now I know
some
what I have to do.
tutorials ready to go, so just let me know when you ever want me to test anything, okay?
Okay. Okay, that's all I think.
All right.
So what should we talk about when our next
See you
meeting
guys.
time
Thank
is,
you.
or just do it in email? We'll do it.
Well, we should probably. Is this a good time to meet weekly, or do we need to? Maybe we should do it twice a week.
Twice a week
Okay.
is fine.
Fridays and what else?
Yeah, it'd be nice to pick a non-6 a.m. time, or 4 a.m. for Diego, but I can do it this early if you guys want.
Is there a later time, or is this the best time?
Diego,
I don't know. The issue is quite early for me, but that's not early for you. That's a 6. Sorry, that's my. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, I agree. We'll just talk about timings in an email. That's fine.
All right, Diego, we're gonna go ahead and drop, and we'll schedule the next meeting over email. Okay? He's muted. I'm gonna go ahead and stop. I think he'll see this, and we'll just follow up on email.
Yep.
No, okay, no, yeah.
Diego, we'll schedule the next.
I agree on that.
Okay.
All right.
So great session, and talk to you guys later.
Yes, I listen to you.
We'll schedule the next meeting over email. See you, Diego.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
See you.